not being from a line of traditional large landowners, has no right to ownership of such relatively large tracts of land. If I am correct in that view, the remedy to that malady is an emancipation of those minds so enslaved. Wow.
You hear that? One of the judge is surmising that the public officials did not want Mr. Chisholm to have the land. We need an inquiry. We're not telling the truth. We need some answers here.
No, I don't want you to miss that. It's basically saying a Jamaican businessman is treated differently by the state because he did not come from the traditional landowning class.
Yes. You hear that? You hear that, people of Jamaica? You know, listen? Play it again.
Malady is an emancipation of those minds so enslaved. Wow. No, I don't want you to miss that. It's basically saying a Jamaican businessman is treated differently by the state because he did not come from the traditional landowning class.
Yes.
Yes. He's saying, in other words, George, the state would not move this way if it was against a plantation family. Yeah.
You hear that? Let's talk about it.
Hey guys, welcome back to Carib 21 Network, wherever in the world you're watching.
Yeah, so this is courtesy of Carib 21. Listen to it.
Smoke without fire. And when I saw that Mark Golding went down to Cooper's Pen to go down there and to do this photo up with Dennis Meadows, the first thing that came to my mind, why would Mark Golding be going down there? Because this, in my mind, this is not politically beneficial to Mark Golding, because all of the lies that the People's National Party operatives were out there spreading, this was obvious to anyone that had eyes to see that this demolition process was not something that the government was involved in. This was between a private developer and the people that were squatting on that land. It was obvious. That was very obvious to me. So now we're getting more information, and now more reports are coming out. And what I believe was happening is that Mark Golding went down there to cover up. Mark Golding went down.
Oh, boy, you never see smoke without fire. Carib 21, what you saying to me, sir?
Yeah, this was an elaborate cover-up. Because based on what we're hearing now, thanks to Nationwide and Emily Shields, now we're hearing no. So now we're getting more information, and now more reports are coming out. And what I believe was happening is that Mark Golding went down there to cover up. Mark Golding went down there. This was an elaborate cover-up. Because based on what we're hearing now, thanks to Nationwide and Emily Shields, now we're getting the court documents that the People's National Party government was in the process of strong-arming a Jamaican family owning property, a property that became very lucrative. Based on what I'm hearing, this property is valued over 2 billion Jamaican dollars. And the Jamaican government tried to strong-arm a Jamaican family to get that property from them. And not only that, it was clear in the court filing, in the documents from the judge, that these people that were squatting on the people's property, that it was encouraged by the government of the day. And the judge went on to say that the government of the day did not see the law as a shackle. And why that is so disturbing is because I remember as a young man growing up when Mutty Perkins was on the talk show on the radio, and Mutty Perkins used to beat on this point that the government of the day did not see the law as a shackle. And that was from a statement that the Prime Minister at the time made, PJ Patterson, that they did not see the law as a shackle. And this is very disturbing.
Yes.
Because one of the reasons why this is also disturbing is because I am someone that I come from the hospitality industry. And as I said, this property is a multi-billion-dollar property. And this is all because of the development in the area with the hotel that was built up next door to this property.
Yes.
And it is obvious that the intention was to build on this property. And to see the government of Jamaica try to strong arm a Jamaican family and take a property from them. And keep in mind, the law only allows the government of Jamaica to take property from you to develop a public space. So
Yes.
whether it's a highway being built or anything like that, the law does not permit for the government to take a property from a local property owner and to hand it over to other people. And what is even more disturbing is that I have never seen in my entire life, I have never seen settlement next door to an all-inclusive hotel. Never seen that before.
Yes.
So I don't know what was the intention of the government of the day, but this was very, very disturbing. And in my opinion, the reason why Mark Golding went down there was to cover all of this up. But thanks to Nationwide and thanks to Emily Shields, now the court documents are out there and all Jamaicans can see what the government was trying to do. And for Mark Golding to have the audacity, to say now that the government of the day, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honorable Dr. Andrew Ernest, should deal with this situation now, knowing that the Supreme Court, every level of the judicial system that they went, trying to fight this family to take away their property, the ruling was no, not in favor of the government. And another important point that I believe that Jamaicans need to take serious and need to consider, the Caribbean Court of Justice. This might be the reason why Mark Golding do not want the final court in Jamaica.
Oh, hold on there. No. I tell you, boy, I tell you this, guys, this is fascinating stuff. This is heavy hitting Sunday. 25 minutes to 8 o'clock. We're not even done yet. We're just getting started. What a story. What a story. I tell you the truth. Anyway, my brother, go ahead. What you say? You want to make the link with the Caribbean Court of Justice? Play that.
In favor of the government. And another important point that I believe that Jamaicans need to take serious and need to consider, the Caribbean Court of Justice. This might be the reason why Mark Golding do not want the final court in Jamaica, because I've been hearing for decades that the reason why different Jamaica Labour Party government do not feel comfortable going to the Caribbean Court of Justice, and not just in Jamaica, there are several leaders across the region that don't feel comfortable with the Caribbean Court of Justice.
Yes.
As I stated in a previous video, there is 15 CARICOM member nation and their associate member. And out of all of those members, only 4 members joined the Caribbean Court of Justice for the Caribbean Court to be their final court. And for decades, people have been saying that the comrades within the region pad the court, and that is why they do not trust the court system. So this case now is opening up my eyes to say, maybe this is the reason why Mark Golding wants the final court to be the Caribbean Court of Justice, because it was obvious Mark Golding was the Justice Minister at the time when the government was trying to strong-arm this family to get them.
You hear that? You hear that? You hear who was the Minister of Justice at the time? He was very much involved in the case. And Mr. Golding went down to Cooper's pen with the Hannah Kimbo pretending as if he knew nothing about it. Huh? We need a commission of inquiry. Prime Minister Dr. Holness, this requires a commission of inquiry, and it can be done. If you don't have a commission of inquiry, Prime Minister, get a 3-member team of eminent investigators and lawyers and give them 6 months or 3 months, 90 days, and tell them, get you a report on your decks in 90 days on exactly what happened, why your Jamaican citizens, fellow brothers and sisters, were bulldozed from their homes over there in Cooper's Pen. 90 days. And when you get the report, sir, send it to the DPP. And let the DPP advise you whether or not there is a case here for either contempt, the perversion of justice, or simple corruption.
Region pad the court, and that is why they do not trust the court system. So this case now is opening up my eyes to say, maybe this is the reason why Mark Golding wants the final court to be the Caribbean Court of Justice, because it was obvious Mark Golding was the justice minister at the time when the government was trying to strong-arm this family to get them off their multi-billion-dollar property, and the court rejected them every single time. So maybe this is the reason why Mark Golding wants to go to the Caribbean Court of Justice, because it is not lost on me that they did not take this to the Privy Council, because they know that if they took it to the Privy Council would also shut them down.
You hear that? Why did they not take it? Since they felt so strongly about this matter, why was it not taken to the Privy Council? The government had the resources. So why not? Why did the case 20 years and you don't go to the Privy Council? Why? Well, now you're hearing why.
So this is very disturbing. And what I've never done this before, but what I'm going to be asking anyone that is watching this video, please watch the video until the end, because the information that is coming out from George Davis at Nationwide, and you saw Emily Shields also, thank God for good journalists. There's not much good journalism going on in Jamaica now, but if it wasn't for Nationwide, if it wasn't for Emily Shields, we would not have access to this court document and to see what the government tried to do to this family. And all Jamaicans should be disturbed by this. I have property at home in Jamaica. I have property. I would not want someone to go on my property and take it over and for the government to come and bully me and get me off that property. Because what people need to understand also, this property is valued over $2 billion. If the government strong on this family to get the property, the government is only going to pay them a fraction of what the real value of this property. And just let me know, when have you ever seen a squatter community in a resort area right next door to an all-inclusive resort? The houses that are built on that property is not worth what the property is worth. Can you imagine? Like shacks on a property that is valued over $2 billion. So as I said, I've never asked for this before, but please watch this video to the end.
All right.
On the road we are on it like.
All right, there you have it. I'm gonna give you a little bit more of that. My goodness, we need to go to the callers soon, but bear with us. Fascinating stuff, eh? Fascinating stuff. Cooper's Hill, Cooper's Pen.
No, I don't want you to miss that. It's basically saying a Jamaican businessman is treated differently by the state because he did not come from the traditional landowning class.
Yes. Yes.
He's saying, in other words, George, the state would not move this way
Yes.
if it was against a plantation family.
Yeah. So that part is the most disturbing part, that the judge in his writing, the judge in his writing could say something like this, that if the owner for this property was from that class, the plantation class, that this would not be happening. The government would not be trying to strong arm someone from that class and taking over their property. We have seen hundreds, thousands of acres of properties in Jamaica owned by these people. The government has never once tried to strong arm the Issas, the Stewarts, never tried to strong arm them and to take away their property. And all of these all-inclusive hotels that have come to Jamaica over the past 30 years, but a Jamaican born owning a property in a very affluent area because of the development of these resorts, and the government tried to strong arm this family and take away their property. And now Mark Golding is showing up at the property like he's the freedom fighter, like he's fighting for the rights for the average Jamaican. When Mark Golding was the Minister of Justice when this was happening, when Mark Golding could have been advising the government, the Prime Minister at the time, to say, let's move these people because they're claiming that there are other properties close into that community where these people could be relocated. So why is it now the responsibility of this government to relocate those people when the People's National Party, when Mark Golding was the Minister of Justice, spent 20 years trying to take property from this Jamaican family? Why is it now the responsibility of the government? Jamaicans, wake up. Mark Golding should never, ever have the opportunity to be Prime Minister of Jamaica because it is very clear.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What did you say about that, sir? What you say? What did you say about Mark Golding? Listen.
Why is it now the responsibility of the government? Jamaicans, wake up. Mark Golding should never, ever have the opportunity to be Prime Minister of Jamaica because it is very clear that the people of Jamaica is not on the minds of Mark Golding.
Oh.
And it was obvious for Mark Golding to run down to Coop to be Prime Minister.
What are you saying to me?
Mark Golding should never, ever have the opportunity to be Prime Minister of Jamaica because it is very clear that the people of Jamaica is not on the minds of Mark Golding. And it was obvious for Mark Golding to run down to Cooper's Pen with him too long empty hand. It was obvious. While the government, while Tova Hamilton, they had to go down there in the morning and mobilize water and tents and all of that. Mark Golding could only manage to go down there with cameras to do a photo op. This man should never be able to be Prime Minister of Jamaica. Sound off in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, there you have it. I think that I have brought you as much as I could, and it's now for you to tell me what is on your mind in the Sunday review. Producer, who do I have? Who do I have? Well, good night to you, Carlene. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Not doing bad at all. Hi, how are you doing?
Good. I like this what you are presenting today. Have a lot of historical truths.
It's the Sunday review, yes.
It's shameful.
It is shameful.
It's shameful. It's shameful. And what the young man just said, that he go down there posturing with nothing to offer. Nothing to offer.
Yes.
You know, goes to the, you know, oh yeah, this is this, knowing full well that this is something that he was trying to do from before. So I was making some comments, where somebody was asking, why would I want to do the same thing with that's happening to the Chisholms in on the North Coast. Why I'm saying that is there is a lot of land in Clarendon, right near to Olava, their area, where it's just sitting there, dry, nothing happening. They could relocate people there, but that's somebody's property. Why would you do that? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So this is just what they want to do is land grab, and the land grab is not the Chisholm's land grabbing. Is Mark Golding and his people trying to?
Let me ask you this, Carleen. How do we resolve?
Crazy.
Yeah, how do we resolve this too? We're gonna give the people back a little house or something like. You don't think the Prime Minister, as I have said, ma'am, should ask for a thorough, comprehensive investigation into this matter?
I agree. This should be the first sentence out of his mouth. Yeah, when he said this is a disaster and we will be investigating, then he would say, I am setting up such and such and such and
yes.
such. But again, I feel like he's also getting advice from people that's not in his best interest. And certain decisions that I see that he's doing is not in his best interest. It's for more people who have more to gain when they support, say, a foreign nation or some people that have other things in mind, and not for the people of Jamaica. If you're for the people of Jamaica, I don't care who it is, you're gonna do what Jamaica does, what good for Jamaica, and don't in 1980 when we hear about seabed authority and all of them, something that come down and blah 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 blah, and then they switch power. So we know that we have to make our own living. We've done very well at doing that with how we have managed since 2016 till now. So he has to be very strategic in people who come in now and say, yes, we're here to help you, we're here to help you. I think the discord is coming from people who want us to keep fighting so that when they start stealing, we don't see it.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. But generally, ma'am, the story broke on Tuesday, and by Friday, it has taken a different perspective. And it is appearing as if it is another PNP scandal.
It is. But you see how quickly people want to make it Andrew's problem?
Yeah, well, that is part of the deception.
Scandal. That's why. Yes, and that's why Andrew needs to make sure that it's very clear.
Yes, and don't take the blame here, man.
No, don't take the blame. It's not your own. It's not yours to own. It's yours to fix, because you know that's what you know. You're not coming into a country that was being well run. You know it was mash up, and it's going to take years to fix. So do what you got to do, and let people own what's theirs, and you own what's yours. His is to call the commission, call an inquiry, or do what he needs to do. Then, at which point, whatever is found out, it step by step, provide information to the country, and also own that the Chisholms are Jamaicans.
Yeah.
The first thing I did was to go look at who they were and whatever. Why people can't do that? And everybody dep on social media and whatever. Go look on Google and see where the Chisholm then come from.
Yes. And ma'am, the court documents are available, you know, ma'am.
Exactly. Exactly, but everybody like for grandstand and get them 1 minute of fame, and with no real focus on actually helping the people around them. It's just me.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. What a shame. What a shame, Carleen. What a shame. Boy, I tell you, it's a sad story. But anyway, thank you so much. You here?
Thank you for giving me a chance to speak.
Not a problem. Member Harry? Member?
It's neighbor. Good night, everybody.
Member, if you were a PNP tonight member, and you were blogging on behalf of the party, how do you defend this?
Maybe I wouldn't be blogging. I would find something else and do, because there's no defense. You can't defend something that is indefensible, you know, because then you look like a fool. And the moment you open your mouth, so you can look like the fool, but the moment you open your mouth to try and defend something like this, you confirm that you are a fool. And the safest thing, which is what I'm seeing many of them have been doing, the known bloggers for the People's National Party, they've all gone silent.
They have gone silent on this matter? They have gone silent on this matter?
They have. Neighbor, some gone host church service, some are prayer meeting, some are hiding.
They gone to church.
Yes. It is the truth, neighbor. It's not even a joking matter anymore. It's 100% there. In fact, even those who, want to put up a front as if, they can defend it, start talking about different topics.
Yeah.
Start to shift the goalposts as if this never happened under their leadership, as if they weren't the party who instigate this issue.
Yeah. Remember, I called earlier for there to be something more done for Cooper's Pen rather than just returning them the humanitarian part. Don't you think, member, that a thorough investigation into this matter would help Jamaica to understand the history behind this and to hold someone accountable? Because remember, you're talking about people's lives, bulldozers pushing down people's house. Somebody should be held accountable, member.
100% neighbor, but we do understand, to be honest, that Jamaica is not there yet to give the law that level of teeth against specific people.
But at least wouldn't an investigation into this, a deep investigation into it, get us to understand more about what really happened to these our Jamaican brothers and sisters?
Most definitely, no, neighbor. But understand this. Persons would have already selected the side that they're willing to defend. And if you take a look in the chat, you'll see it. Those who have made their premature decisions will hold, because of ego and pride and clear stupidity as well as ignorance, will hold on to things in absolute because of the tribal nature that we've had in Jamaica for such a long time. It's engraved in us, right? A lot of them, even when this is done, will never accept what the truth is and what the facts are. Because imagine, neighbor, the facts have been put forward by a lawyer, a very good one, right? Inside Bernard.
So is Emily Crooks.
And right. But I'm speaking in terms of how he went through the whole documentation of it to give the people exactly what was said by the court, right? And you're going to have people rejecting that information, rejecting the court information because it was brought by Nationwide.
Well, did they reject it because it came from Emily Crooks, RGR?
Well, Emily Crooks don't wield much power anymore in the journalism space as much as before in a neighbor.
And what are you saying to me?
Right? She doesn't. And when you look at it overall, it sends a damning message. Because if you are now going to disregard the news because you don't like the message, because you don't like the messenger, then you're doomed. And that is what Jamaica tribalism has been causing, especially in this issue.
Remember, the Labour Party and the PNP seem to practice a different type of politics. The Labour Party seems to be more reserved on these matters, less aggressive than the PNP would be. Are you comfortable that the party in recent times have been as aggressive as it should be to expose the PNP for its corrupt practices?
I think in terms of how the Jamaican Labour Party have a problem with politicking, right? They weren't built on that pillar, right? It is of recent, when we look at mid-2000, like 2005 coming up to 07 election, we saw where the Jamaica Labour Party showed that they understand politicking, right? And we've kind of do a little shift away from it again. But the People's National Party was built on that neighbor. If you take that away from them, you don't have a People's National Party. While the Jamaica Labour Party itself focuses their aggression and their intent on building a country, running it well, without playing much of that politicking way that will hurt. It will do more harm and damage in the medium to long term than ever before. And they understand what that comes with, and they made a choice. But what is happening now is that to defend the work that you're doing, you better learn how to politic. You have to be more aggressive. We already understand that, listen, everybody has a duty in the party. It's all hands on deck. And I'm not seeing all hands on deck in this manner, because you have 35 selected members, right? Representatives who formed the government in that case, plus the Senate. They are going to do the government's work. What are the others doing? What is the party aspect of it? Not the government. What is the party aspect doing in terms of defending and educating people as to what the government is doing and what these things are being done by the opposition? We don't see them still silent. And that is a problem we're having with it, because you should be front-facing, especially with the fact that the opposition and people have the idea that this is the work of the government. Why aren't you pushing back? Why are you sitting and waiting for too long? And I'm not saying to go out and campaign, go out and educate the people, because we lack that. It has been our Achilles heel. It has been the thorn in our side because of politics for at least 4 to 5 decades. And the only way you can unroot it is to be surgical and go head on to characterize where we're bleeding. And in this case, the ignorance, the lack of information, the misinformation and disinformation has to be cut off. And you have to do so with extreme prejudice, neighbor.
Yeah.
Because remember, this opposition is not playing any games. They're going to do every and anything to ensure that you feel.
My friend from the Carib 21 network laid it out very, very good for us also, Harry. And he suggested that clearly Golding went down there to cover up this matter. Do you think he may have a point there that Golding's visit there was a cover-up? And also, Harry, since Mr. Golding was the Justice Minister when this matter was brought before the court, why would Golding be such a hypocrite going down there and pretending as if he knew nothing about this matter?
Neighbor, remember, I know, Jamaicans are short-sighted, because I can tell you a lot of the people there at Cooper's Pen specifically probably not even remember that he was ever the Justice Minister, that he also had a very direct hand to play, because this is court proceedings, this is public matter, and as well as it deals with justice overall for the people, right? So the Justice Minister would have been able to advise the then Minister of Housing, Morris Guy, as to how to go about this issue. Now, going down there now, neighbor, is to save face, is to act upon that said ignorance, the same ignorance that they acted upon to carry this to court to try and pervert the course of justice, and to almost strong-arm the court itself, the judiciary arm, to get their way. It is no different from the tactics that Mark Golding has gone down there, not to show any level of empathy, but to cover up, to save face, and to also try to be relevant on the ignorance of those people.
Now, as far as the case go now, because it is a very, I did a little bit of research today, Harry, online, and I found that Jamaicans in the diaspora are very interested in this matter, because it tugs at your heart a bit, you know, Harry, when you hear the stories of a baby in a bath pan and things like that. How do you think that the government now need to frame this story as it pushes forward in the week to come? No doubt it will be on the lips of Jamaicans for a few more days. What other angle you think should be taken in this matter?
Well, you see, because this administration, neighbor, has never had the luxury of spinning anything and switching the angles on the matter. They just have to deal with it. It is in their mandate, their responsibility, because they got a third term, and they have to find a middle ground. It is normally one of the hardest things to do when you're facing with 2 decades of improper governance, as well as an attempt to pervert the course of justice overall from a state standpoint. So the stance in which the government has to take, which the Prime Minister has started already, is to see how best they can aid the process to ease, firstly, the burdens that is being faced. They are out, don't have any shelter and so on, so you put up something temporarily, but also then to let them understand that this is going to be a process where relocation is required. We're not 100% sure how it's going to go, but you also want to involve those people. The problem with it as well is that you're not dealing with 99 persons again, as was in the court issue. You're probably dealing with maybe 200-300 more people, and as such, you want them to be a part of the process to let them be inclusive. But that takes time, and the politics you have to keep an eye out for, right? So the government has to now safeguard themselves from any scrutiny that will come, and just be responsible enough to take their time